Hello everyone. Today we're going to be addressing gantry twist. This is for all of those folks out there that have gotten their mirrors lined up using my short video or somebody else's, and then they take the gantry and they move it all the way to the back and shoot a dot there, and they find that the dot in the back doesn't line up with the others. So that's gantry twist. That's what we're going to address in this video. I've only got two hands today, so I might have to do some weirdness to film while I'm doing this, but I've already taken out the 4 bolts. There's some M6 bolts that hold the gantry in. You have to remove those any way you can. In most of the K40s, it's a really cheap square bolt. I've replaced those on mine with, I kept the same nuts, which are M6, but I used hex screws. So these use a 4mm Allen wrench, which is a lot easier to, get in there and take them out. So first hint, or first little hint there is to do that. So when you're going to take the gantry out, there's a lot of delicate things, cables and these little brass things can get knocked out. So you want to be careful. Also, you want to secure the gantry to the front. This X gantry, you want to secure it to the front. And what I do is I cut out like a 10-inch piece of blue tape. I tape the first half to the bottom, then I wrap it around and tape it to itself on the front like this, and it just keeps it from moving around. Next thing you're going to want to do is pull the Y cable. That's the cable for this motor. You want to get that loose, and then you want to push the gantry towards the back. You can see that I pushed it back as far as it'll go, and then you want to push it out from under there like that, and then just gently pull it out without bumping into anything. You can see the cable for the Y motors coming out. Try not to pull on it. If it needs some help, go ahead and slide it out of there. And now you're going to have the gantry on end, and you're going to have this ribbon cable. So this is the ribbon cable for everything else. It's for the X motor, and it's for the limit switch that goes into this flag down here, and it's for the limit switch that goes to this flag right here. So you've got the ribbon cable here, and this is just a pressure insert. So it's a push to insert that holds it. The little circuit board is very flimsy, so when you're pulling this out, what you want to do is you want to grab that firmly, and then also supporting the circuit board, you want to rock it back and forth. Now I'm being extra careful, so I can do it with one hand. And there you see you've got the silver on the top, and there's the connector. Just let this fall back in, and that's how you get the gantry out. Now we're going to go take it to the flat surface where we're going to check to see if it has any twist in it. And spoiler here is that I've already put some twist in mine on purpose just for this video. So let's go have a look. Alright, so I've got the gantry on a flat surface. This is a countertop, so I'm fairly certain that it's flat. And I'm going to check to see if there's any twist. If there's no twist in the gantry, you can press down on the corners and you shouldn't get any movement. Right? You see I'm not getting any movement there, but see this corner is lifted. So that means that the diagonal corners, this corner and that corner, are higher than this corner and this corner. And the reason this happens, it could be because the beams are not cut square, right? Or they're not cut square this way. But usually the cutting is accurate enough that if you just loosen the 3M6 screws that are on each corner, you only have to loosen them about a quarter turn each, maybe a half turn if it's really tight on there. And again, these are also 4mm Allen wrench screws. So they should be so loose that you can just by hand turn the Allen key, and the screws should be nice and loose. Alright, so now let's see how I can film this. The idea is you want to take the two corners that are low, so those two, and now you want to hold here and press here to flex the gantry in the opposite direction. Okay, and since everything is loose, the screws are just gonna let everything slide. So now you can see that nothing is bouncing. There's a little bit of clicking just because there's a bit of flash from where this hole was drilled under here. So if you press too hard, you can actually get it to make a sound, but trust me, right now it's very flat. And now I'm going to hand tighten these. That is, I'm not going to tighten at all. I'm just going to turn the screw until I meet, you know, the natural resistance of the screw against the metal to take out any excess space, but still give me some of that looseness so that the frame isn't so rigid, right? So I'm not using this to get any leverage. I'm just turning the shaft until the screw butts up against the metal. And then I'm going to check my corners, make sure they're still flat, and then I'm going to do a 1/8 of a turn. Okay, so a 1/8 of a turn looks like this. It would be like going from here to there, so it's like a 45-degree. Quarter turn would be there. We're just going to do 1/8 of a turn on each screw. 1/8 there. 1/8 there. Well, that one's really loose. Maybe I didn't snug it as much as I thought I did. So 1/8 there. Double check here. Yeah. I didn't snug those very well. 1/8 there. That one was snug. So 1/8 of a turn there. So this is going to tighten the frame just a little bit more. But then if there's any need to make a very small adjustment, you may be able to still force the frame a bit. So this 1/8 turn, it keeps the frame together strongly enough that nothing's going to shift unnecessarily when we do our final tightening. Alright, so it seems like all four corners are pretty square now. And so now I'm just going to tighten each one, you know, however much farther it'll go. Doesn't take a lot of pressure. You don't want to strip the aluminum threads. Just snug enough, you know, maybe another 1/8 of a turn if you can get that much. Sometimes I get another 1/8 of a turn, sometimes I just get a little bit less than 1/8. Sometimes it's fairly tight already. Tightening the screws further is not going to make the gantry any more squarer than it is. Squarer is the word. That one's already pretty tight.